Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be doing our round 10 preview. Now we're also going to be having a look at round 11 as well, as this is part of Sir Doug Nicholls Round. So before we start this, I do want to take a quick look at the Guernseys. Now I did make a full video, but 24 minutes, I do understand that is quite a lengthy period. So we're just going to have a quick run through of them here. So, of course, the Guernseys look stunning for another year. We're not going to waste too much time. We are just going to go ahead and just have a quick little run through. You can see what they look like here. And then, we're just going to be, you can see what they look like. And then we're going to be hopping right into the preview just because, again, we don't want to waste too much time around here. But, we're just going to have a quick look at these Guernseys. They all look absolutely stunning. If you want to see a little bit more of an in-depth review on these Guernseys, you can go and watch my actual video where I reviewed all of them. And had said my thoughts on them and everything like that, and ranked them at the end of the video. So you can go and check that out if you want to see a little bit more of an in-depth review on the Guernseys. But this is just going to be a short little snippet of what they are going to look like. They're going to look even better, of course, when players are running around with them on the field. It's going to look so cool to see them. Of course, dream time at the G. Can't wait for that. But it's exciting. Can't wait for Sir Doug Nicholls Round. It's a brilliant round every year, and let's not waste any time. We'll go ahead, hop right into the round 10/11 preview. But again, round 11 will also have its own preview if you're wondering. So round 9 had Western Bulldogs defeating Collingwood 99-51. Richmond 117 getting over the Hawks 94. Port Adelaide 115 smashing North Melbourne's 46. St Kilda 90 getting over the Cats 80. Sydney 105 smashing the Bombers 47. 102 for Brisbane was just too good for Adelaide 66. 69 for Gold Coast outclassed Fremantle 33. 105 Carlton was just too heavy as the Giants only made 75. And Melbourne 112 got over the Eagles 38. So round 10 has a big host of games for us. Another big round of footy as the first of 2 rounds of Sir Doug Nicholls Round, or the first of 3 for Gold Coast, as they do play a game in Darwin in round number 12. So Carlton versus Sydney begins it on the Friday night at Marvel Stadium. Now, Carlton sit 4th on ladder, Sydney sit 5th on ladder. This is really a big game, and I believe winner jumps into the top 4 as well. Well, if Sydney were to win, they go top 4, and if Carlton are to win, they solidify their spot. And they are also equal on points with the Dockers, so if they win and the Dockers lose, they can jump up into 3rd. What a stellar season Carlton are having. On the other hand, Sydney, they haven't been starting the greatest. They did obviously have a massive win over the Bombers, which could have been way more than what it was, as the inaccuracy did cost. Well, didn't necessarily cost, they still won the game, but they could have won by more. Carlton, I say Carlton win this game. I've said 15. I'm pretty happy with a 15-point margin as well for the Blues. Marvel Stadium, they have played their best there this year as well, so I feel like a pretty comfortable win could be on the cards for them. And I could see Carlton going more than 15 as well. I could see them doing way more than 15, but I say 15. Now, Bulldogs versus Gold Coast on the Saturday. Would not be surprised if the Suns were to get up. Would not be surprised. Bulldogs sit 9th on the ladder. Gold Coast sit 12th. Now, Bulldogs did lose to Adelaide down at Mars Stadium, although that was a different case. That was back in round 6, and when the Bulldogs weren't playing their best. Last week, they really straightened up against Collingwood. They really straightened up. Played so much better than what they have been in the past few weeks. Their season is still a bit of a mess right now, but again, they're still trying to find their feet, just like Port Adelaide, and they're still trying to rise up the ladder. So the Dogs, they sit just outside the 8. A win is pretty big for them. A win for the Suns is massive. So I'm not sure we were thinking these 2 words, Suns and finals, but if they win the game, that's definitely 2 words that we could be hearing more of, Suns and finals. Now, look, I would believe in the Suns to win it, but just because of the challenging conditions down there sometimes, and the Dogs, they know this ground oh so well, I'm saying the Bulldogs to win this one. Geelong versus Port Adelaide, same time, GMHBA Stadium. Look, Port Adelaide could win it, but I feel like they're a massive outside chance, and I feel like Geelong are the favourites. Now, yes, Geelong did lose to the Dockers down there, so that does really give Port Adelaide a realistic chance at this one, a realistic stab at this one, I reckon. Port Adelaide, definitely a chance in this one to win this, and I do feel like they could win it, but Again, I would actually be surprised if they were to pull it off. I do see the Cats winning this game. Of course, the Cats are 7th on the ladder, Port Adelaide are 10th. Both teams in desperate need of a win. The Cats to try and really stay in touch with the top 4. Otherwise, they'll only just be in the 8, you'd think, on points. And Port Adelaide, well, they can go into the 8 as well. They've got some big games coming up, of course, as well. So every team has tough challenges every week, and the Cats this week, they need to nail this one down. Otherwise, their season could be looking vulnerable as well. If they don't win this, their season will be vulnerable. North Melbourne versus Melbourne, or should we say Narm, at Marvel Stadium in the twilight time slot. North Melbourne, I just don't see them even competing in this game, winning it, let alone winning it. I see Melbourne winning the game and smashing them. North Melbourne is 17th on the ladder, and they could easily go down to 18th after this if it's dismal enough. Melbourne are first. I don't see that changing. They will go 10-0, and that is an impressive record, going 10-0. And they've got Freo to come, and they could definitely beat Freo, especially because at the MCG, their home deck, so they are more than capable of beating Freo as well. But North Melbourne, I still see them smashing the Kangaroos by, I'm saying 70 plus, I reckon. 70 plus, a big win. I reckon they could even do it by 80 plus if they get the chance to. Adelaide versus St Kilda at the Adelaide Oval. St Kilda, yes, they are the favourites. St Kilda sits 6th on the ladder after a very impressive win over the Cats. Crows sit 14th. They've had a horrible last 3 weeks, and I don't see it getting any better for them. I see them losing 4 on the trot to the Adelaide Crows, which is a massive disappointment for them after they were looking so good. 3-3 after round 6. Round 7 loss to the Giants was devastating. 8 and 9 were going to be tough. 10 was going to be tough. So they've got some tough fixtures ahead as well to the Adelaide Crows still. So yeah, the Saints, I do see them winning this game by a margin. I have them winning this one by about 25 to 35. So I still feel like they'll do it by around a Brisbane last week margin, something around that sort of margin. 25 to 35 is what I say. The Crows, not tracking too well. The Crows are the team that could definitely pull off an upset. Like the Suns and the Crows can definitely do that. They've got the power to do so. The Crows, I could definitely see an upset happening, but I'm just definitely going safe and saying the Saints. Dreamtime at the G, one of the best games of the year. No matter whether you get a good contest or not, it's ripping anyway. No matter whether you get good contest or bad contest, it's important, of course. Dreamtime at the G, one of the best games of the year. No matter the result. Richmond sit 8th. Essendon double that, you get 16th. Essendon 16th on the table. Richmond are 8th. Essendon, no, they're not winning this game. If they had have beaten Sydney, I would say yes, they are a chance. But Richmond, the form that they've been in lately, they've just won back-to-back games. They've beaten West Coast. Yes, West Coast, great, aren't the greatest opponent. They've beaten Collingwood. Yes, Collingwood also aren't the greatest opponent. And Hawthorne, yes, Hawthorne aren't the greatest either. But they've been doing, and they've scored over 100 points in, I believe, all 3 of those games. So we've shown they can hit the scoreboard heavily. Very, very heavily can the Tigers. So I'm saying they'll get another big win. And can they score over 100 for the 4th week in a row? Because I've just got to double check round 8. I believe they scored over 100 in round 8. Yeah, they did. Their ability to score quickly, though, is really Richmond's that real strength and firepower. They've got multiple players that can go forward, kick goals, Dusty, and I just don't really see the Bombers being a chance. If they've got defensive problems, Richmond will definitely easily be able to get to 100 as well, just because of their scoring firepower the past few weeks. I reckon there's a big win coming up here for the Tigers. I have said them by 38, I reckon. I think I've said them by 38. GWS versus West Coast. Does this loom as a comeback game for West Coast, or will GWS put up way too much for the Eagles to handle? I'm just saying the Giants will win this game. West Coast, they did compete versus Melbourne. They stopped them from scoring for 2 quarters, quarter 2 and quarter 3. But if West Coast concede 5+ goals in the first quarter, they are gone in this game as well. Away from home presents another difficult challenge for West Coast as well, which I just don't think they'll be able to overcome for them, unfortunately enough. So I'm saying the Giants, I'm saying they'll win this one by over 50 points as well. Can West Coast show up and make a contest of it? They did last year, so they could definitely do it again, but I just don't see that happening, unfortunately, for West Coast. Just not in a great place, and they just need to try and start this rebuild and try and make it through to the end of the year as best they can. Hawthorne versus Richmond. Hawthorne are 13th on the ladder, Brisbane are 2nd. I don't see this being the greatest of games either, just like this one. But Hawthorne could compete. The thing that you never know about the Hawks, you never know what they're going to be able to do. So they could come out and they could win this game. Not taking anything away from the Hawks, they could win this game. But just because of Brisbane's scoring firepower, like they showed last week versus Adelaide, they can bring it. So I see the Brisbane Lions winning this game as well. Hawthorne, you never know with them. They could definitely compete in this game. Not saying that they can't. They could. And again, they could really cause an upset, which they are definitely capable of doing that. And I'd be surprised though if that was to happen, just because of Brisbane's such good firepower. They are the second best team in the competition. They do sit second on the ladder. So I'm saying Brisbane a win for that one. And now on to the final game of round 10. And that'll conclude the first round, Sir Doug Nicholls Round as well. Of course, we're still round 11 as well. Fremantle versus Collingwood at Optus Stadium. This one was actually reasonably hard to tip, but I did come to the decision saying Freo will win. Collingwood, I actually would be surprised though if they were to get up in this one though. I was pretty confident though tipping the Dockers, however. I just don't know if Collingwood can do it. Collingwood, they are unpredictable as well. They are not great either right now. They're okay, but again, not great. And yeah, just a team that's as class as Freo. Last week, it was wet weather footy, hard conditions, favoured Gold Coast. They still went inside 50 plenty of times, just couldn't get scores on the board. I'm saying they're going to bounce right back to their best. That was a little hiccup. They're going to bounce right back to their best and get a pretty solid win over Collingwood in the West as well. I've only said 7 points, but I feel like it could be more than 7 points if the Pies let the Dockers get off to a good start. So tips for round 10: Carlton, Western Bulldogs, Geelong, Melbourne/Narm, St Kilda, Richmond, GWS, Brisbane, and Fremantle. Now, round 11, of course, continues. Sir Doug Nicholls Round with Sydney taking on Richmond. Brisbane taking on GWS. In fact, that was the Sir Doug Nicholls Round game last year as well. Geelong versus Adelaide. Melbourne/Narm versus Fremantle. West Coast versus Western Bulldogs. Gold Coast versus Hawthorne. St Kilda versus North Melbourne. Collingwood versus Carlton. The big rivalry there. And then you finish off Sir Doug Nicholls Round with Port Adelaide versus Essendon. But don't worry, footy does go to the NT in round 12 as well. TIO Stadium hosts Gold Coast versus North. So Gold Coast getting 2 games in a row in round 11 and 12. So Sir Doug Nicholls Round is fast approaching. The Gurnseys look amazing this year, and the matchups of games are fantastic as well. Mid-season draft is held after round 11, so there's some big things coming up soon as well. So there's massive stuff coming up on the football calendar over the next few rounds. Sir Doug Nicholls Round, Dreamtime at the G, of course. So yeah, massive. And then, of course, mid-season draft, ladder. Wow, it's as big as you can get as well. But yeah, that is how the ladder is looking. Melbourne, 9-0, fantastic. Brisbane, Freo, Carlton, Sydney, St Kilda, Geelong, Richmond round out the top 8. Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide, Collingwood, Gold Coast, all just a game outside the 8. And then Hawthorne, Adelaide, GWS, Essendon, North, West Coast are struggling. So, thank you guys all so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys in another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. So bye everyone, Flaming Footy out.